Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, inventors of the hot new workout trend, running from the cops. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. Run, Trevin, run!
I've been trying to get in shape, and that's the only reason why.
So before we jump into dreadful dilemmas, you guys, we have had this podcast now for 4 fucking years.
Can you believe that? 4 years is a very long time. You had a baby in that span.
A baby was conceived.
Oh.
It was birthed. And now that baby is almost 3. So yes.
That's so wild to think that a living being in our podcast, our podcast is older.
I know. Weird. I was a mother of 1 when we started.
Yeah, and so much adversity too. Just all of the pregnancy, you trying to breathe through episodes was really hard.
I still don't know how I got through that.
I don't know how I got through it. I don't know how either of us did it.
I don't know how you got through all the different weird living situations you were in this whole time.
Yes, which so happy to be here. Love this dude.
How long have you been in this house?
I think we moved in the end of 21.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we've been here a minute. It's
Yes.
been pretty consistent. So it's kind of funny looking back at our early days.
Yeah, I don't think I missed an episode doing that.
Yeah.
Which I had to really put myself in uncomfortable places to set the computer up and do that.
Dude, we recorded at my parents' house before. We recorded at my house. We were all over the damn place back then.
It was all to give you guys the pettiest crimes known to man.
Oh my God. And technically, my cat is about as old as the show is.
Yeah, because he was like your first dilemma.
Yes, he was my very first dilemma. So that's crazy. So I've had that damn cat for 4 years.
Yeah, you were a new cat mom. That was before I even had Mabel.
Wow. How time flies.
And we thought we could do movie reviews in the episodes too.
Now we just do those on Patreon.
I always wonder if people are like, I'll check this show out, and they listen to us and they're like, ugh, they do movie reviews too. I'm not checking them out.
They're like, they can fuck off. They take themselves way too seriously. It's like, sorry, guys. We were seriously sinister back then.
Yeah, just to find that it took us maybe 2 episodes to stop doing that.
So congrats to us and congrats to all of our listeners. Honestly, whoever you are out there that has been with us this entire 4 years, give yourself a little pat on the back because we appreciate you.
We appreciate you so much. And we're not going to go like too crazy on celebrating with this episode because we're just about to 200. So, hey, you can still give us a 5-star review for the birthday, but we're going to do our celebrating probably more on the 200 because of just different things that kind of threw our schedule off.
Yeah. This way we can kind of think it through a little better, give you guys a really nice big celebration. So on episode 200, if you guys have any fun ideas for us, now's the time to send it in.
That's a great idea, yes.
And we want to go big for episode 200 because not only is it 200 episodes, but our 4th year, and that's when we will be celebrating.
And that's the year that we finally get bigger than Ashley Flowers.
Yeah, move over, girl. Amanda Rose is here.
Yeah, there's a new flower in town.
You're not the only daisy in this garden.
And this one's got thorns.
So, Trevin.
Is my flower?
What is your dreadful dilemma?
Okay, so I had an argument with Emily the other night.
Uh-oh.
That just about ended with the big D.
Oh, wait, which big D are we talking?
Okay, so you know how our foreplay works. All right. So I was telling her about how I used to think that grape was the lamest color as a child. So like whenever you would get candy, whether it be like those juice box barrel things that were really metallic-y flavoring.
Oh, yeah.
There was like blue, purple, orange, pink, whatever, red. Or if you're talking popsicle flavors, just like any kid candy or syrupy thing where it's almost like you don't know what the flavor it is. You just know it by the color.
Yeah.
I was saying like grape was always the lame flavor. I've recently been finding more love for the color grape. Sorry, that's what my brain keeps wanting to say. So I've been loving grape again because I always knew that was the lame kid flavor. And Emily looks at me and is just like, what are you talking about? The lame flavors are always orange or like Skittles yellow.
Oh my God, Trevin. Thank God you finally said something that made logical sense because I'm with her. I'm sorry, I'm so against you. Okay, my daughters fight over the purple popsicles. They fight over who gets purple.
Damn, that's just not the world I was raised in. Like purple was the less fun color, and I love citrus flavored things, so I love orange and yellow things all day.
Oh no, orange and yellow are not where it's at. That is such a hot take.
I thought orange was like everybody's second favorite. I mean, red's always number one with kids because
red
cherry
is a top tier for pretty much anybody,
yeah,
right?
even if you're a boy who's like, oh, it's not manly to like girly colors, and for some reason you think red is a girl color, because I've heard kids say that.
Oh.
They still love red flavor because cherry is just everyone's favorite.
Yes, or fruit punch. A lot of them are fruit punch, and my God, like cherry, strawberry, fruit punch, raspberry. You can't really go wrong with red.
Everybody loves blue too.
But orange?
Orange is a delicious flavor.
No, the only thing I can agree is that orange soda is pretty delicious.
Yes.
But like the orange popsicles, the orange starburst, the orange anything else, I'm like, bleh.
Orange runts?
No, I really wasn't about the orange runs. I really liked the pink starburst and the pink runs. Pink all day for me.
Yeah, pink and red are always, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand that I love yellow and nobody likes yellow. I get that. But I didn't think that orange was bottom of the barrel down there with it. I don't know. I thought orange was like the quirky, fun one that a lot of people still thought was a top favorite.
And maybe Emily and I are the wrong ones here. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get opinions from this very hot topic,
Yeah.
Trevin. I want to know what our listeners have to say about all of this.
So you would say in your household it is like fighting for red and purple?
Yes, red and purple. If they get an orange popsicle, they will cry. I'm not even exaggerating.
So that's the bottom one for you?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Listeners, let us know because I don't know. This show has really opened my eyes to just how wrong I am.
Hey, aren't we all? Like, I'm sure you'll get people being like, yes, Trevin.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. It's a very divisive topic, Trevin. I can't believe you even had the nerve to bring this up on air.
That's my dreadful dilemma, is that I'm realizing how wrong I was, because I was just going to come here to tell you all that we all need to give grape more of a chance, but I guess it's just me who needs to give.
You really need to.
Wow.
That was dreadful. Well, I also have a dreadful dilemma. I know we were just talking about my kiddos. It does have to do kind of about a kid situation or parenting situation. My oldest daughter had a school musical concert recently.
Oh, yeah. I had told you I sent you something, and you're like, oh, I've got a concert this day.
Yes.
And I said, sing it, Lila.
Yes, you did. And boy, did she.
Okay.
So it was Under the Sea themed.
Okay.
Honestly, the concert as a whole, I have no complaints. I think the music teacher did a phenomenal job. I even told her the next day in the drop-off line, I was like, great work at the concert.
Love your work, man.
Love your work. Sign my titty. No. And they actually did something really unique that I have never seen in a little kid performance, where at one point, each of the kids had these little paper plates and they were like dancing with them like they were bubbles. And it was so funny because Lila, she's like a little dancer, you know? So she was like fully extending her arm, even if it was like whacking the other kids, you know? It was so funny. Which kind of leads me into the dreadful part of this, okay? Lila did amazing. She knew every word. She was like, Larry the lobster. She was like getting it, okay? Yeah. Like 10 out of 10. Beautiful job. But as I'm watching the show, I look over to, what are they? The stands?
The risers or whatever.
Yeah, the little bleacher riser, whatever the hell the kids are standing on. I look over to the right a little bit, and I notice that there is a boy, and he's not anyone I'm familiar with. I don't think he's in Lila's class, but clearly he's in her grade. And he pretty much towered over all the kids. So he was like bigger, like taller and bigger, wider, like just the biggest, you know?
Yeah. So he had a growth spurt way earlier.
Yes, exactly. And he was standing next to, I'm not even joking, the smallest kid on stage. So it was like the biggest kid and the smallest kid right next to each other.
So it makes it feel way more exaggerated.
Yes, and it was like a boy and a little cute girl. And the show starts off with the song Wipeout, you know, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, and they're doing like all these surfing moves. And this boy is just like whacking this little girl like he's so big, and he's like going all out with his motions, just whacking her. She's like trapped. So I'm trying to enjoy Lila over here, but then over here I'm like, this poor little girl, she's getting trampled over here. And my mom, she recorded the whole concert because my dad couldn't go. And you can like hear me on it being like, Mom, look, that poor girl. Like, look over there. Like, she's getting crushed. Oh my God.
Save the child.
Save the child on stage. But eventually, because she was in between two large boys and she like crawled her way out, crawling behind them.
What?
Mid-concert. And there's all these teachers on stage. I'm like, somebody help her. She gets out. Then they move her, but she's like really sad about it. So she sat down for like 2 of the songs, and I kept trying to smile at her and thumbs up her. I don't think she saw me. And then eventually at the end, she stood next to a very delightful girl, and she sang and sang and sang. So it ended well.
That's good. I thought you were just being dramatic. I didn't realize that you meant like she was down and like actually crawling out.
No, Trevin, when I tell you that this boy was just like, da na 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 na, like whacking her, and she was just like, trapped.
She's like in a mosh pit.
No, literally, it was like a wild mosh pit on stage, and I was like,
shit.
someone save her. Like, I really wanted to shout it.
Damn, that's just poor planning. You know, they line those kids up and like do that kind of rehearsal walking on the risers. So why?
Which I don't know if this is a new thing. Lila said they never practiced getting on risers. They didn't tell them who they were standing by ahead of time. None of that, because they actually do their performances at the high school auditorium. So it's like, I guess they just didn't want to go over there and practice. I don't know. But it was a big eye distraction, and emotionally it was distracting as hell for me too.
Oh my God. When I was a kid, my very first one of those performances, I was being a little clown. Me and this other kid back and forth were just like hee, and not actually singing the songs. After the thing, the music teacher pulled both of us into her office and just screamed in our face. She said, my parents were at that concert and you made me look terrible. Screaming in our face. And literally we're kindergartners. I was like scarred from this woman for life. This was when she had first became the music teacher. She was my music teacher the whole time I was in school.
And you still like music to this day.
I didn't like it because of her.
Oh my God, that's awful.
You could feel it, even to my senior year when I would still see her in the hallways.
She's like, you ruined this for me.
I almost quit my passion of teaching because of you.
Wow. I was the exact opposite. I was the loudest singer. I was like, woohoo! I was like adding my own little yas, and I was so extra.
I just felt uncomfortable being in front of people up on the risers. So I was just like, had to distract myself. So trying to find somebody to talk to me during it was what I did. And you're not supposed to talk in the middle of a performance you're putting on.
Well, Trevin.
Yes.
Today, we're going to be doing a game of Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
We are. It seems like quite a while. This is definitely the first of this year, I think.
Oh, for sure. I don't even know the last time we played it. I don't even know if we did it around the holidays, did we?
I don't know either. But I think we waited the perfect amount of time. Sometimes when we do Would You Rathers, I feel like it's a little hard for me to find it in me. And this came out of me pretty quickly.
Oh, good. See, sometimes I know you and I have gone back and forth like, do the listeners like Would You Rathers, or do they want more informative stuff? Like, we've even gone back and forth too, so.
I think I personally always like to learn a little something with my fun conversation, but I don't think that's everybody.
Yeah.
So I let whimsy speak for itself sometimes.
There you go.
So this week, I have one that I made myself.
Okay.
Would you rather be forced to document your life as a parent in a daily family YouTube vlog,
Oh, God.
or kick off each NFL season by singing the national anthem with a different item up your ass each year?
Wait. Read that second one again.
Or kick off each NFL season by singing the national anthem with a different item up your ass each year.
But I get to do this like at a big game?
Yeah, every single year you are going to be the person that kicks off the NFL season by like, and the national anthem by Amanda Rose. And you'll go out there at the first game of every NFL season and sing the national anthem with a different item in your ass.
But nobody knows that part?
People are going to know, yes, because it will be voted on by the people. You're kind of a spectacle.
Oh, this changes everything.
So every year you are the spectacle of singing the national anthem with something up your ass as voted by the people. Of course, we're not going to get too dangerous with it. You know, you won't be in a lot of pain.
No way in hell. Maybe I just put a little marble up there and then get to belt it out. No one would know the difference. But no, if people are voting on this, I simply cannot have it.
But the other one, you will have to put out a family vlog of your daily life as a parent with your family, and it has to be a presentable YouTube video that comes out every single day, no time off. And so you have to wrangle those kids to put that together every week. And it has to be presentable. I'm not saying, oh, I just have a live feed going.
Oh my God.
So think of the stress of this podcast, but daily, and your coworkers are your family now.
It is a dreadful decision either way. I think I would still have to do the family vlog.
Yeah?
I mean, my kids are going to probably resent me and be weirded out by me either way.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we'd be like that annoying ass family vlogger and not like, I wonder what your mom's going to get shoved up her ass this year. Like
I'm
at
voting
school.
corn cob.
Yeah, like I can't choose that.
I guess I understand.
Which one would you choose? I mean, you don't have children to vlog with, but you have your animals.
Yeah, I know. For me, it wouldn't be too terribly hard, but then I couldn't have any side projects because I would be just so busy. Yeah, that one's more harder for a family member because I recently watched that Devil in the Family documentary.
Oh my God.
I was watching, I'm like, oh my God, doing a family vlog would be so much work.
So much work.
It made me think of just the ethics of that, not even as far as that documentary went.
Oh, it's horrible.
I highly recommend it. I think that's a great documentary.
It was a great documentary. Were you familiar with that story before watching it?
Not that familiar, no.
Oh,
it just
okay.
kept escalating. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I actually was familiar. I've listened to podcasts about that. There was a 2020 episode on that whole situation, but yeah, that Ruby Frankie bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
My Lord. I'd have to do the blog thing too, but I think if I had kids, I would consider one day of embarrassment a year than trying to make my family a company. I think that would be very hard for me.
It would be, but think about it, Trevin. People would be coming by your house like, what's your dad gonna shove up his butt this year?
And then you just kind of own it, you know? You just got to pay your social dues once a year, sing the national anthem with something up your ass.
That's all.
I mean, there's worse things in the world.
Wow, that took me by complete surprise. I cannot take credit for my Would You Rather today. I'm going to give full credit to someone that I love very much that listens to our podcast on a regular basis in his hot tub, and that is Papa Dennis.
Papa D, we all love him so much.
I was driving here, and like I told Trevin earlier, I hated all the Would You Rathers I had come up with. I called my dad to see if he had anything better, and boy, did he. So, Trevin, would you rather be the defense attorney for a guilty person or the prosecution against an innocent person?
That's a very good one. And I love a good Would You Rather where they go hand in hand.
Yes.
You know, like they're not super random.
Totally.
If I knew I was making this choice, I would absolutely be the defense for the guilty person.
And what makes you choose that?
Everybody loves an innocent person, Nobody wants to prosecute an innocent person.
No matter what you choose, an innocent person will get hurt because I'm sure a lot of innocent people want that guilty person punished, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. You do have to look like the asshole.
You do, but I'm with you, though. I was just trying to play devil's advocate. I would rather defend a guilty person, too, just because, God, those people that are all up in innocent people's faces trying to make them look bad when they're not is just so... Mm-hmm. But then again, the people making the bad people look good when they're not is... None of them are a good look.
I've been reading They Thought They Were Free, the book about the people who supported the Nazi regime, but they weren't fans of it, but they were supported it politically. And the more I hear the firsthand accounts talking about the crushing feeling of having to go along with something that you truly don't believe in, it sounds terrible. So
did that change your mind?
No, I guess technically both would be things you don't believe in, but I would much rather look like a person who's just doing it for the money than know that I'm harming someone emotionally and
Yeah.
I'd much rather look bad in that way than feel bad for the pain I'm putting on somebody with my own actions.
No, I feel you. I choose that one too. But you know what else I think we may both choose?
Well, it's probably something that's not going in our asses.
Certainly not. It's these ads.
And we are back. And I'm going first this week. I've got a very recent story again. And honestly, I shouldn't be surprised to say this, but 2025 is bringing some pretty good petty crimes already. Mm-hmm. But when you crank up the gas on our news machine, I guess you can't really be too surprised that people are going nuts.
Yeah, really.
I've got one of those instances, and it takes place in a setting that I feel like you might have to help me if we've done this before. I can think of one that's on a smaller scale, but this is going to be a whole new sound designy thing for me to play with this week.
Ooh, exciting.
So come with me, y'all. Let's set sail. And here we go. Nothing gets me more wet than a life on the sea. Maybe it's the promise of adventure, the call to the unknown, or the idea that once you set sail, Fox News can no longer reach you.
The more you fear, the more rich we get.
There's no bills, no Facebook Marketplace, just the gentle arms of Poseidon rocking you to sleep each night. There's something comforting in knowing that the sea could swallow you up without a trace. But there's more to the high seas than feeding that millennial urge to disappear entirely. It is a place of rules, of order. For surviving in these rough and isolating conditions, it's going to take more than just you. It's going to take a crew. The seaman, a term I prefer to consider genderless because it's too good to change, must adhere to nautical codes, maritime law, and a long-standing hierarchy where the captain must lead and the crew follows suit. Together, they brave literal storms, cooperate in times of great stress, and bond over the shared trauma of smelling like rancid fish.
Honestly, I think I'm starting to like it.
But even with all that structure, the open sea is a fickle mistress. Her endless horizons can make a person feel untouchable, unshackled from the rules of the land. Out here, away from prying eyes, even the most civilized minds can start to drift. Because whether the call is coming from inside the ship, or you encounter pirates of the dark waters, a life on the sea can get downright lawless.
Anchors away, crew! It's time to set sail!
Sandy gasped for air, sitting straight up in bed. The ship creaked beneath her as she swayed with its movement.
It's a little early, don't you think?
Marty groaned from his bunk across the room. Sandy squinted at the faint red glow of the alarm clock. 8:55 a.m.
Yeah, I thought today was our sleep-in day.
Dragging themselves out of bed, First Mate Sandy and Deckman Marty shuffled into their well-worn fisherman slippers and made their way down the grimy corridors toward the bridge. As they pushed open the door to the upper deck, they were greeted by the blinding Washington sun and an unfamiliar face.
What are you two doing?
The man barked frantically, prepping the engine.
It's 9 a.m. We need to cast off. Wait, who are you?
Marty mumbled, wiping the sleep crusties from his eyes.
I'm Captain Stedman,
the man said, starting up the boat.
I was sent in by Big Fish to captain this vessel, Jamie Marie, on this next charter. Your old captain got a bad case of crabs, so I'm stepping in. And I don't know how he handled things before, but I don't tolerate sleeping days.
Marty's heart sank 20,000 leagues under the sea. He exhaled sharply.
And since you seem so vocal about my orders, your first job can be swabbing the poop deck. Now both of you, get changed. We're leaving the harbor. Now!
The two retraced their steps back to their seaman quarters to change. Marty pulled on his rubber booties and waterproof trousers, bracing himself for the poop ahead, while Sandy buttoned up her crisp first mate's uniform. Their 5-person crew operated on an 80-foot commercial fishing boat, a tight space, but one that required a well-oiled team to function. And despite their different roles, Sandy and Marty had become the most compatible roommates aboard.
This job sucks,
Marty whined, slinging a mop over his shoulder.
Salmon season doesn't last forever.
Sandy said, offering what little comfort she could.
I'll load up the nets and see if I can sweet-talk our new captain into getting us back early.
As she re-entered the bridge, Captain Stedman stood at the wheel, eyes locked on the harbor's edge. His grip on the helm was firm, his focus unshaken. A little too unshaken, Sandy thought. He practically stared right through her as she passed his line of sight. Sandy stepped up to the navigation system, the first mate's domain.
Should I set the coordinates for Salmon Alley, Captain? It's been like shooting fish in a barrel there for weeks.
She offered, hoping to prove useful.
No, we don't need that.
The response was curt, his attention still fixed on the rearview mirrors, barely any acknowledgement. Sandy hesitated before flipping on the navigation equipment, now unsure what to do with it. The sonar flickered, revealing promising schools of fish ahead, but she kept the information to herself. If Stedman wanted to play the all-knowing captain, she'd let him.
Where shall I set the coordinates, oh Captain, my Captain?
Sandy asked, layering her discomfort with sarcasm.
Where we're going, we don't need navigation,
Captain Stedman replied.
Once we're out to sea, the Chinese mothership will find us.
Sandy barely had time to process that statement before the bridge door burst open. Marty stood there, covered in poop.
The poop deck has been properly swabbed, sir.
Sandy and the captain stared at their shit-stained deckhand, equally impressed by his efficiency. Sandy smirked in approval. Stedman, ever the leader, saw an opportunity.
Meh, you probably missed a spot. Do it again.
A single tear carved a clean line down Marty's brown-smeared cheek. Without a word, he turned and slammed the door behind him. Sandy watched as the Washington shoreline faded into the distance. The worst workday ever was officially underway. Her work bestie was distraught. Her new boss sucked. And soon, quitting wouldn't even be an option unless she wanted to awkwardly wait for the boat to take her home.
I'm going to my room.
With Captain Stedman confidently steering them toward God knows what, she decided to step out and find Marty. The breeze blew hard from the east, the cries of the seagulls and Marty the only sounds over the water.
Don't feel too bad, man,
Sandy said, leaning over the edge with her friend.
That new captain said something about going to the Chinese mothership. This guy's nuts.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't wake up just to get thrown straight into shit,
Marty exclaimed.
I liked our old captain. He gave us sleep-in days and treated us with respect.
I hope he's managing those crabs.
Sandy said, pulling out her phone.
We've all been there, but I never miss work because of them. Maybe I'll give him a call and wish him well.
With her phone contacts showing her old boss, Captain Crunch, she hit the green call button.
This is Ferdinand Crunch.
Captain, this is Sandy from work.
Sandy, what are you doing awake? It's just after 9 a.m.
The new captain came aboard and told us you had a bad case of crabs.
Crabs? I've been in a long line at Starbucks. I was going to surprise you all with your favorite coffee.
Sandy's stomach dropped. Her hands went clammy. This was not the morning she signed up for.
So you didn't know about the new captain taking us out to the Chinese mothership?
Sandy, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're out to sea on a stolen boat.
Marty,
Yeah?
we're on a stolen boat.
You gotta be shitting me.
On February 8th, 2025, 42-year-old Washington State man Joshua Stedman stole an 80-foot, $8 million commercial fishing boat with the crew still on board. Stedman boarded the Jamie Marie around 9 a.m., temporarily convincing the crew that he was the boat's new captain. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Police posted this quote to their social media.
A subject had boarded the vessel, woke the crew, and advised them they needed to get underway.
The newer crew did not know the captain, but didn't argue, thinking he was an alternate operator or someone sent by the real captain. He surely acted the part, as he knew how to start and operate the large vessel. In interviews, officers said the crew's suspicions peaked early in the voyage, when Stedman allegedly mentioned his plan to meet up with the Chinese mothership while maneuvering the ship into the harbor. The original captain was then called, confirming that they were aboard a stolen boat. As the investigation unfolded, authorities discovered this wasn't even Stedman's first attempt that morning. Earlier, he had boarded another large vessel, started its engine, and attempted to rally the crew for a trip to sea. That crew, however, wasn't as easily fooled. They ran him off the boat. Unfortunately, they didn't report the incident until word spread about the Jamie Marie theft. Police arrived on the scene, prompting Stedman to return the boat by 9:30. His 30-minute voyage ended with his arrest, where officers found him in possession of $4,000 in cash and, quote, a large quantity of individually weighed and packaged marijuana. Stedman was booked into the Gray Harbor County Jail, according to Westport Police, and was charged with theft, vehicle prowling, possession of stolen property, and illegal drug possession. As this is an ongoing case, no punishments are available at this time. I don't know about you, but this crime left me soaked with suspense. Stealing a boat of that size is one thing, but trying to trick a crew into going along with it twice? That's some legendary stuff. The audacity of this man knows no limits, not land nor sea. Whether he was truly after the Chinese mothership or just a big fan of Captain Phillips, only time will tell. But until then, I leave you with a quote from the poet E.E. Cummings that may help you understand Joshua Stedman a little more. For whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourself we find in the sea.
He really went up there and said, I am the captain now.
I can't even imagine the audacity to pull that off twice. Stealing a large boat's one thing, but stealing a boat and trying to manipulate a crew into believing you is another.
He's like, all right, you assholes, time to wake up, rise and shine. It's like, God, you have to have a lot of confidence in yourself.
One bit that I couldn't get over when reading about this was that they said he woke the crew up at 9 a.m. and told them to get going. I'm not one of those people like my parents growing up where it's like, hey, get your ass out of the bed. What are you, lazy? Like, I'm not one of those people. You can be a productive human being and sleep and wake up whenever you want. However, being a fishing boat just seems kind of odd to me. And I'm probably going to sound really dumb. It's probably like, oh, they fish all night and then they sleep during the day or something. But It seemed like everybody else was already up and moving at the other boats. And they're just like, what the hell are you trying to do, man? Like, get out of here.
Right.
But these people are all waking up at 9 a.m. like, oh, what the hell?
Right. It does seem kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Was there no information? Like, did this guy work on a boat like this back in the day? Is that how he knew how to operate it? Like, there was nothing said on that.
There's nothing said on it yet. There's not even a picture of the guy.
Oh, damn.
Which is crazy, but maybe, I don't know if Washington has more safe rules on that or if they're waiting for him to be like officially charged. And I did kind of come across like a Facebook page that looked like maybe he's a fisherman connoisseur, like man that likes that kind of stuff. So obviously they said he knew how to run one, but nothing came out that he was like an ex-worker of anybody's.
And did they explain how they got him off the boat even?
They just said when the police arrived, they got him to just bring the boat back.
Oh, okay. They're like, you bad boy, turn this ship around right now. And he said, okay.
That's the thing that's so weird to me. It's like you have the audacity, because one thing that would keep me from doing crime is just the social aspect of it. You know, if I want to rob somebody, I don't want to see the shame in their eyes when I'm doing it. Or, you know, if I steal a car, I don't want to think about somebody not being able to go get cereal later because they don't have a car.
Yeah.
I feel bad about the person. I don't feel bad about like the money part of it so much. But this guy has the audacity to be like, I'm going to steal a boat with people on board. I'm going to trick them all. And then you don't have like a next plan past that? You
like,
got the boat out there.
Where are you going? What are we doing? He's just like, oh, shucks. Maybe he just wanted to see if he could do it.
I mean, maybe he was trying to find somebody and make a drug deal in the sea.
Maybe.
But I would just try to steal a boat that nobody was in.
Or just do your drug deals on land like a normal person.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually very wild.
Yeah, I'm really hoping there's going to be more information on this one because there is just too many questions left unanswered.
And when did this happen exactly?
This was February 4th?
Of 2025.
Yep.
Wow. Another good one to look out for, for updates. I think I might know what our connection is already.
Yeah, okay.
but I'm just going to wait for you to hear it too.
Okay.
Alrighty?
We haven't done like much on the sea. I had
Yes.
the fisherman story about the guy who put the weight in the fish to win the fishing thing.
Yes, and I did have a hurricane story with Michael Myers on the beach, and that probably had to have some seagull type water, but
our characters weren't ever like on the water, really.
No. Question mark? I was trying to think of that while you were saying the story. I don't know. I don't think so, but I could be so wrong. We've done almost 200 episodes by now, damn it.
I know, and each one has 2 usually, so yeah.
Yeah, I can't off the top of my head think of something that took place out in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Teasing about the open water story, I was like, I don't think, we've done that.
Yeah, that was a new one. Have fun with that.
Yeah, I will, thank you. I actually listened to like dark sea shanties the whole time I wrote it, so I was getting myself in the mood.
Pirate vibes.
Mm-hmm, pirate vibes only.
Well, I also have a story from the news, and I just have to say the name of my criminal sounds made up, but I assure you all it is his actual name. I actually found out quite a bit about my main character, which I always love it when I have a lot of information. So, of course, I had my fun with it, but I tried to keep a lot of the facts in that I could.
Mm-hmm. I love when you can have a lot to work on with a character because I had to make fake characters. I didn't want to go too hard in my guy's character because I think we might get to know more about him later.
Yes, exactly. Also, this might be another first. You know, your story was the first we did out on sea. I feel as though, and I could be wrong too, this might be the first of this exact criminal charge. I don't think we've done this criminal charge before.
Okay, sweet.
So anyway, here we go. Today, I'm going to talk about bubbles. At first, it seemed to be a simple enough topic for me to discuss. Yet, as I started researching and writing, it became clear that bubbles really are a complex part of our everyday lives. We take bubble baths, message through text bubbles, and wrap up our precious items in bubble wrap. Special occasions influence us to bring out the bubbly champagne and shake our bubble butts. We see bubble letters pop up in ads and hear about our economic bubble on the news. All the while, sitting on a planet the shape of a bubble, floating in space, and hoping not to pop. Today's petty crime story is filled with soap opera drama. So bubble up, Buttercup, as I prepare to blow all your minds. Sandy Snakenberg was a man with a diverse resume, ironically having zero experience with snakes. Sandy was a pro skater for a while, spending his days shredding and being stoked.
Sup, nutsack?
But over time, life became exhausting as a skater boy, so he said see you later, boy, and became a cook. Sandy learned how to baste, broil, and barbecue just about anything, and wasn't too bad at it. Only, spending his nights preparing dishes he could never enjoy became a huge bummer. He later joined the Navy, sailing the ocean blue for miles and miles, without truly getting to soak in its beauty. When he was older, he decided to travel the world. Sandy left the U.S. and lived in Singapore for a while, feeling like nothing could stop his life adventure. That is, until his ticker decided to act up, landing him in the hospital twice for heart failure. Returning to the U.S., Sandy lived in California with a new view on life. He was going to enjoy every last moment he had by doing what he loved, even if that meant dressing as a pirate while out running errands.
Arr, matey, keep the change.
One evening, as he walked around a park, Sandy sat on a bench and remembered he had something in his pirate pocket. He excitedly reached inside and pulled out a skinny tube of bubbles. Grabbing the bubble wand out of the sticky solution, Sandy held it to his lips and blew gently. The soap mixture curved away from the wand, flapping back and forth slightly. He blew harder to persuade it to emerge until a plump, round bubble was formed. Part liquid, part gas, Sandy examined the floating sphere he created. Although translucent, the bubble reflected the surrounding lights and color. It wiggled innocently in the wind until it dropped into the sharp grass and quietly exploded. Sandy continued blowing bubbles, watching them with nostalgia on his mind, when he heard a small voice yell, "Bubbles!" Before long, a small crowd of excited children and parents started to gather around Sandy, gawking at his bubbles. The rest was history. Sandy began creating his own bubble solution and added more and more bubble equipment to his collection. He blasted bubble guns with tiny rounds and cast enormous globby bubbles from large string wands. Soon, he was creating his own spectacular bubble shows and went by the nickname, the Bubble Pirate. 10 years of bubbly performances later, it was August of 2024, and Sandy was now a 63-year-old man. During this time, he created a 501c nonprofit called Bubble World. He lived and worked out of his Bubble World van, performing at birthday parties, funerals, and any other celebration of life that brought people together.
Congrats on your first bankruptcy.
Bubbles had become not only a passion for Sandy, but a livelihood. It was just another summer Saturday as Sandy, aka the Bubble Pirate, walked towards one of his popular performance spots. It was a small beach area called La Jolla Cove in San Diego, California. He waved at some of the regulars with one hand and carried bubble-making technology in the other. Sandy found a cozy spot to set up and began his Sud show. Onlookers clustered around the levitating soapy circles and gasped at their beauty. His performance gripped the audience for a while, building up to the climax of his act. Sandy spun his bubble contraptions round and round as oodles of foam flew just above the captivated crowd. Yet, as Sandy looked away from the magic happening in the skies and down to the people on the ground, he noticed one audience member frowning at him. The buzzkill stepped through a plume of bubbles, popping them with his broad shoulders. It was then Sandy saw the officer's badge.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but I've got a ticket with your name on it.
On Saturday, August 24th, 2024, 63-year-old Sandy Snakenberg, known to locals as the Bubble Pirate, performed his bubble magic at La Jolla Cove in San Diego, California. However, not everyone in attendance was there to enjoy the show. A police officer interrupted the act, issuing a citation and handing Sandy a ticket for littering prohibited fluids. In a statement, a city spokesperson explained why the citation was issued, saying, "The city of San Diego values the rights of community members to engage in expressive activity in city parks, including artistic expression. This does require those engaging in these activities to do so in accordance with the other city codes and regulations, including those related to littering and disposal of waste." Supervising Public Information Officer Benny Cartwright went on to say, "The individual uses up to 6 gallons of liquid per day, with the residual chemicals ending up in the lawn areas, which can cause damage to the grass. After witnessing numerous violations and receiving complaints from other park users, rangers issued the lowest level citation available." The Bubble Pirate himself has made many statements on the matter, explaining how he crafts his own bubbles by hand and is careful about the ingredients that go into his mix. I compiled a series of his quotes, encapsulating his side of the story, given to media outlets.
It will not kill the grass. After being there for 8 years, the grass is green. I am a bubbleologist. I practice the science, the art, and the magic of bubbles. When I do the really big bubble and everyone says, "Wow," together, they're connected. I got kind of hooked sharing the joy of it. There's kids that come see me who've been watching me since they were 6 years old. And now they're like 16 coming to see the Bubble Pirate. It's not just my livelihood. It's something that's actually part of the community now. First and foremost is safety. Safety of the environment and the audience. Those are my two things.
In a 2016 TEDx talk, Sandy Snakenberg spoke about the relevance of bubbles, saying, quote,
Bubbles are created to be shared. Don't kill the bubble. Doing so denies people of its magic. Enjoy it and let others enjoy it as you do.
The most recent update on his case that I could find is that his littering citation is being defended pro bono by Mackenzie Scott criminal defense lawyers. An October hearing for the case was postponed and has not been rescheduled. The case is still pending in San Diego traffic court. Bubbles truly are all around us, bringing a fragile and magical beauty to our world. Whether you have a bubbly personality or the bubble guts, embrace the gas as we all float casually through life.
What a beautiful ending. I thought surely Bubble Guts has to show up somewhere in this thing because you had such a long bubble run there that I thought, oh, is she not going to use it?
Bubble butts, come on. Bubble, 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 bubble. Yeah, I
Bubble
had
butt.
a hell of a time writing that beginning thing.
Yeah, that seemed like a lot of fun. So is he still able to perform or is he like...
Yes, he is
Okay.
still performing because that happened in 2024. And you can follow him on Instagram at the Bubble Pirate. I think we should follow him on our podcast page and tag him when the story comes out because he seems like quite the character.
Aw, that sucks that people would complain about something like that.
I definitely am on the Bubble Pirate side with this one. I think most of us probably are. I think the 6 gallon thing is just a weird exaggeration. And like Sandy said, he's been going to the same locations for 10 years, 8 years, whatever he said. And the grass was still green.
Yeah, and he said he makes it himself. So couldn't they just check his ingredients list and say, just switch out that, please, or something?
I know. The whole thing's silly. He did say that he got warned a couple times, like, you might get a citation, you might get one, and then it finally happened. And maybe it was settled out of court. I don't know what happened, but I could not find any update at all. It hadn't been rescheduled or anything.
Being a traffic court thing, probably too small to even have out there, depending on the state. What state was it again?
California, San Diego.
San Diego.
Sandy! Yes!
Yeah, which that's one mini connection before we get to that.
I know.
We both had Sandy's in our story.
Yes. And he was charged for littering prohibited fluids.
After I got so caught up in his story and everything in the recap, I wanted to say that I wanted to litter a prohibited fluid in that cop's coffee cup for picking on my bubble man, but
I know.
I forgot about coming back to it. But yeah, that's a different one too, prohibited fluids.
I know, because we've done a couple littering things, like when you had the petty neighbor throw the coffee cup in the yard. That was littering.
Littering fluids. I mean, there's the story where the guy pissed on the cornflakes, and that would have been littering a prohibited fluid in my book, but
You would think, yeah, that's like a health hazard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what that guy was charged with, but yeah, I was like, I don't know if we've ever had that specific charge ever.
I'm just trying to think of like pouring liquids everywhere. I'm thinking of the wine semi truck where it leaked everywhere because technically he forced that to leak everywhere. But
Ooh, I wonder if that was. Do you remember what his charge was? We're gonna have to look that up.
I mean, it's probably in a different state, so good chance it might have been a
Called
different name
something
anyway.
else. Yeah, I was just like, that's an interesting one. Okay.
It definitely stood out to me too.
Yeah. Another connection other than we both had Sandy's in our stories. We both talked about pirates.
Pirates in the sea.
And the sea, the ocean, the ocean breeze was breezing through our locks this week.
Wow.
Holy shit.
And I am not a person who's drawn to the sea, so to have picked this the week to do it, I don't know how we do it.
Honestly, and I know you don't care probably that Moana 2 has come out on Disney Plus like I do.
No.
So really and truly, I don't know how we linked up on this one, but
I'm trying to like even just dig back to what would have inspired me to go with this one besides it being a recent crime. That was it.
yeah.
And I was just like, oh, it's so different. I've never done a on the sea story, but I don't know. I don't know how that works. Like, is it a wavelength thing?
It is.
Maybe we need to get some sort of like woo person to come in here and tell us how we're doing this, how we're so
are we
magical.
Connected like this, guys? Come on. I know we've had plenty of weeks where we weren't, but I feel like we're way more connected than we're not, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, anywho, I hope everyone's having the best week. And just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to send in some ideas for that 200th episode, y'all.
Yes. Bye.
See ya.
Come on over to Patreon, why don't you? This is the perfect episode for a blooper reel, so come on over.
And if you want to tell me how terrible my take about fruit flavors are on drinks and candy, find us on social media and tell me about it. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And have you ever stolen a ship? If so, ahoy! Send us your petty crime story to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same rating Amanda would rate that children's concert she went to. I'm still reeling from the mosh pit. Give us 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods.
Arr, matey, keep the change.
You sounded just like, what's his name from SpongeBob? The crab.
Oh, you, Mr. Krabs?
Yeah.